Welcome to the From Wrong to Strong podcast, where we share real stories of redemption and transformation through Jesus Christ. If this content encourages you, make sure you follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Welcome to the From Wrong to Strong podcast. Throughout the month of August, we're opening the vote and revisiting conversations from our podcast archive. Since many of you have joined our community over the past year, this is an opportunity to hear messages that may be new to you or worth hearing again. As we revisit these conversations, I'm also excited to share that my new book, From Darkness to Light, The Gospel Journey, will be releasing on September 8th. My prayer is that it will help even more people discover the hope, forgiveness, and new life found in Jesus Christ. Now, let's jump into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Wrong to Strong Chicago podcast. My name is Omar Calvillo, and we're here doing another interview. I'd like to introduce my guest. His name is Hector. This is a brother that I met recently. And just through conversations that we've been having, just going back and forth as far as like our personal lives, we found that we have like a similar story. So I'm like, man, as we were talking, I told this brother, man, I got to have you on my podcast. So I'd like to welcome Hector. I'll let him maybe introduce himself, maybe say a little bit about himself real quick.
Yeah, what's going on, bro? My name's Hector. I'm 29. Like Omar said, well, to be honest, we met each other through work. And, little by little, we started conversing and, like he said, we seen that we had a lot of similarities despite the age difference. And, I can relate to a lot of the things he's been through. I can relate to a lot of the other people that have been on this podcast. So I was definitely looking forward to doing this podcast with him.
Hey, man, thanks for sharing the age difference, man. Basically calling me an old man, Yeah, so I'm 44 years old. But hey, thanks for being here, man. And let's get into your story. I know we talked a little bit beforehand. Can you tell us... I know you grew up in Chicago your whole life. Maybe I know you mentioned you moved around, but what's one area that you remember that you grew up in as when you were young?
Well, when I was born in '92. So I was born in like the West Pilsen area till about '98, and then me and my family ended up moving to Cicero. My grandmother ended up getting a house out there.
Okay, and that was around that age. And what do you remember, Pilsen? Like, how old were you while you were still living there? Up to what age was that?
So probably like 6, to be honest.
Okay.
But I mean, I remember a lot. Growing up over there, it was definitely fun as a kid. I mean, despite the neighborhood, we get to, we see a lot of guys around and we see a lot of people getting in trouble. But you see it every day, and it just becomes it's normal. It's like. Oh, we're going outside and you might see somebody breaking somebody's car, but it was like, it's just another day around there, So it wasn't nothing like, I guess to me, that was out of the ordinary.
Got it. Okay. So you say, you were growing up having fun and man, that's what you knew. So you couldn't really, compare it to anything else, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What about as far as like a family? How was your family structure growing up?
I mean, it was all right. My mother and my tias, my uncles as well, they all, grew up in the gangbanging lifestyle. So I want to say that was one of the reasons why a lot of the things that I experienced was normalized because it came from our roots. You get me? Like it came from my mother, it came from my tia, it came from my tío. So, a lot of that, we were around it. We were around their friends and their friends were doing the same thing. So that I feel like that was one of the reasons why it became, normal and it wasn't out of the ordinary. And yeah, man.
Okay, yeah. So you basically grew up in the neighborhood, and man, it sounds like the whole family was in the gang there, right?
Yeah, basically, man.
Man, and what kind of things do you remember, like growing up, like witnessing that now when you look back, you're like, man, that's not maybe something that a kid should have grew up around in, just like during that age,
Well, I mean, I used to see a lot of shootings, but again, you don't know that it's one gang shooting at another gang. You just see a car pulling up, shooting at another guy, So as far as, perspective, you just see someone trying to hurt somebody. So it wasn't like, okay, I know it's this gang versus this gang. It was more so as far as we see somebody innocent hurting somebody innocent. You get me? One of the things, though, growing up that now I can say is definitely we should have been doing when we would go outside and play with our friends in the neighborhood, there would be a lot of spent shell casings on the floor. So we would pick them up and, we'll look at them and be like, oh, okay, this is a nice little gold piece, nice little brass piece. So we would play with it, but because that's something that caught our eye on the floor, we're kids, we're running around the neighborhood and, little things like quarters and all that you find on the floor. So all of that, you see all these little shiny pieces on the floor, and we would stumble upon, the brass from the spent shell casings, and we would always see like, oh, it says 9mm. But this is not nothing that at that age. When you get older, you start to say, well, like, wow, bro, I used to play with these when I was a kid. Right. Not even knowing that they could have been used in a murder or whatever the case may be. You were just, nonchalantly just playing with them, bro. Like,
yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can't relate to a childhood like that. Honestly, man, just going in the street and just picking them up like nothing, man.
Bro.
That's the way out, man. But yeah, no, that's definitely how Pilsen was, back then. But as you grew older, is there like an event or something that maybe like as far as like your family that brought a change in your life as you're growing up in this lifestyle? I know you mentioned family and the gangs. Like how was your like growing up after that?
I mean, like I said, when 98 came, we ended up moving to Cicero, ended up getting a house over there. And to be honest, it was still a lot of the same. Like, my family was still hanging around. You can basically say in the same amount of people, just almost in a nicer neighborhood, you could say. You get me? Like, it wasn't as bad as far as looks. You get me? Because looks are definitely deceiving. You could be in a neighborhood with beautiful houses and just, the group of people that are around there, you get me? It's all upside down.
Yeah. So it's still like the same, it's like they're bringing the negativity or the bad stuff that they're doing just into a nicer neighborhood.
Or the negativity was already there. It's just, adding more fuel to the fire. You get me?
Gotcha. Okay, so you moved to Cicero. How many years did you spend there?
So, my family always had the house in Cicero. But I want to say, like, me physically, like, I ended up moving from there, I want to say when I was like in 4th or 5th grade, something like that. We started to get into foster homes and group homes, and my life started to definitely change at a young age.
Man, do you want to share what happened that you ended up having to go into a foster care home?
Basically, I mean, you can say that my mother wasn't fit to be a mother.
Gotcha.
You get me? So, I don't know how it happened, or I don't know if somebody reached out to them, but somehow the state ended up finding out that, my mother was doing drugs and she wasn't able to, take care of us. So one day from school, I was in class and I remember like it was yesterday, I ended up getting my name called on the speaker, like, hey, can you have Hector come down to the office? And we were watching a movie that day. And I remember one of my classmates telling me, you're lucky that you're getting to go home early. So I get my stuff, not knowing what was going to happen when I went down to that office. I go downstairs, and sure enough, there's a caseworker ready to take me and my brother and, put us in a group home. And I just remember that day, like, wow, like she assumed, my classmate, she assumed that we were going home.
Right.
And little did I know that I was not going home that day whatsoever. Like that was it, bro. Like I didn't see my mom. I didn't get to say bye to my mom. None of my family members. They literally just came to school, talked to us for a little bit, talked to the principal, and then took us. Like it was that fast. It was that fast.
Man, that's crazy. I'm sure that had to be one of the life-altering moments for you.
Yeah.
Hey, was it just you, or who else was it?
It was me and my brother. At the time, it was me and my brother Sam, and we definitely ended up. It was life changing. We're kids. We're like in fourth. I'm like in 4th grade. My brother's probably.
How old was that? Like
I want maybe like 10.
Okay.
Give or take, and so for us hearing like, oh, you're not going home no more. You're like, we got to take, like that hurt us. You get me? Me and my brother, we're 10 years old. I'm 10 years old. He was probably like 7 or 8, and we're just crying. You get me? Because we're not going to see our parents no more. So that was definitely a hurting moment.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think that'll hurt anybody. Let me ask you this though. Before this happened, did you have any idea that this could happen? Like, as far as like looking back, like as you know, your childhood, did you see it coming, or was it like a complete surprise?
We'll be right back.
I want to take a quick moment right here. If this podcast has been impacting your life, I want to invite you to go a step further. From Wrong to Strong is more than a podcast. We're a nonprofit ministry reaching people inside and outside prison walls through testimonies, devotionals, and outreach. You can be a part of that. Visit fromwrongtostrong.org to learn more, support the mission, or get involved. And if you haven't already, follow the podcast and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. All right, let's get back into it.
No, I can't say I would say I seen it coming, only because of the fact that I'm a kid and I don't know nothing about social services. I don't know about, foster homes and group homes and me being potentially put into that predicament. So, now that I look back and I look through everything that we've been through, you see why it happened, but you don't expect them things to happen because, again, you don't know about it. You don't know what's the
the effects or the results
exactly,
that could happen.
Exactly.
Right?
So you're not thinking about that.
Right.
If your mother's making mistakes or the people around you are making mistakes, whether they're negative or not, you're not assuming the worst.
Yeah.
You get me? You're not assuming, okay, she's doing this and tomorrow I'm going to be gone.
Right.
Like you don't think about none of that.
No, yeah, definitely. Because you grew up, so this is like everything that's going on at home or in the neighborhood. It's normal. Hey,
Exactly.
This is just the way it is in my family and the neighborhood, and you don't see anything wrong with that. But obviously, maybe like you mentioned, social services, for whatever reasons, they decided, man, we got to take you away, from home. But man, you want to share what that experience was? I know it hurt. But where did you end up going? Like, let's say like that first day, like.
So the first day, we ended up going to a group home, and we were there. So we ended up going to the group home, and I want to say, I can't give like an exact time how long we were in the group home. I want to say maybe about like 3 weeks. But living in the group home, it was just like a whole bunch of other kids just like us, but their stories may have been worse. Okay. I remember I met one guy and, kid at the time. Yeah. And he was telling me how his mom had abandoned him and his sister in an abandoned house. Like, she just took him there and then she left and never came back. So it's like, some people got it worse. You get me? Some people got family that just neglects them, from the jump. And So that was kind of like an eye-opener, like, wow. Like, somebody that you think that loves you just, left you in an abandoned house. Not even with family, not even in a warm house. Left you in a cold house, alone, and
and left. Man, that's
left. Good. Yeah.
How many kids do you think were in that group home? Like,
it was hard to say because you got different ages. You get me? So when you go to a group home, they kind of put you with your age group. You get me? Because they still trying to educate you.
Okay.
You get me? You're still going to like some type of slight schooling, I guess.
Right.
So they're still trying to educate you. So you're not, necessarily with everybody. You're with your age group.
Right. Okay. How much time did you spend there? Like, how many years or?
No, so I want to say, in the group home we were there, probably there. It wasn't that long, maybe about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So the group home was fairly short, but it was definitely an experience that you wouldn't forget because this is the beginning stages of you getting taken away and getting put in the system and, just being part of the system, being a statistic.
Gotcha. Now, as far as the system, can you explain that a little bit? Like, basically what ended up happening next, or where did they put you in, or what was the next move?
So, like, when you first get into the system, before they put you in a group home, they try to put you with family members. And we didn't have too many family members that can take us in, that maybe didn't have a good background and that they seen fit to take care of us.
Gotcha.
So one of the first places that me and my brother ended up going out of the group home was my brother's side of the family. We went with his grandmother.
Okay. Did she take you and your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she took me and my brother. I stood there a few months longer than him because my brother's dad's side of the family ended up coming forward and was able to end up adopting him, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, his dad's side of the family ended up adopting him. So,
Gotcha.
He was definitely fortunate to go with, I would say, like a closer side of his family, because
Right.
I don't know my brother's, my little brother, that were living with his grandma. I don't know his family like that, you know, so it wasn't as comfortable as you going to,
To the other brother's house.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So you felt like maybe you were closer to to his family than to the one you ended up getting placed in, I guess.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So how long did you stay there, you said?
I was there for about 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for about 9 months.
And what ended up, why did you end up leaving there?
Drugs. My brother's grandfather, he used to smoke crack, and he used to do heroin. He used to shoot up. And, one day this guy, he smoked crack in front of us. He smoked crack in front of me and my brother. This is like the first time we experienced somebody like actually doing hard drugs in front of us. Because it's like we knew our mother was doing something, but we didn't know what.
Right.
And she didn't do it in front of us. What we probably seen was the aftermath and the effects of it. You get me? It's like somebody being drunk. You see them all stumbling around.
But you didn't see them drinking, but you just see the effects
exactly
that it had on them.
Gotcha. So that was with my mom. It was always like the effects. And when we were at my brother's grandma's house, it was like, he'll do it in front of us, and you get to see the effects. You get me? But it was the first time that, somebody actually did like hard drugs in front of us.
Man, that's crazy. Then, so he was doing drugs, and did that lead to you leaving there? How did you end up?
Yeah, eventually. So he had like this routine we would do so he can, buy his crack. So like every morning, this was like summertime. I want to say like 5th or 6th grade, but it was summer vacation. So I was always with him. And, we would always go to, he had this routine where we would go to like a Walgreens or a CVS, and he'll go inside and he'll steal disposable cameras.
Right.
And when he'll steal the disposable cameras, he'll come back in the car. We will go to a little village on 26th Street, and then he'll flip those cameras and get whatever little money he can get. And then we'll go to the west side, like by K-Town, and, that's where he would go buy, his little fix.
Man. So after that, where did you end up getting placed after you left there?
After that, I ended up going to another home. I was probably there for about 2 weeks until they found a lady who I definitely appreciate taking me in. Her name is Stacy West.
Okay.
And she ended up taking me in. And at this time, I'm like 12, 13.
Yeah.
I think I just finished 6th grade. And she ended up taking me in on the far south side, like on 109th and Vernon. And, it was the first time that I was living. Now I'm living with an all-black family.
Okay.
So, we're Latinos. We grew up, that's what we know. We're Latinos. And I would like to say one thing that I definitely liked going through my experience was that I learned about different races.
Yeah. Cultures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
cultures. Yeah. You get me? Like I definitely learned a lot about them. Even with going to my brother's grandmother, they're Irish, and it was just a whole different experience, to go to different cultures and seeing how the cultures are. And, it opens your mind to other things, because now you're not just closed-minded on one culture, your culture. You get me? You're getting to expand your mind and see, like, okay, you get to see what it is from your point of view.
Gotcha. Hey, right now, when you mention her name, I don't know, it sounded like you had like almost like an attachment, like you really appreciated this lady. Do you remember some of the things that she did for you, maybe that you're like grateful or thankful for what she did for you back then?
Well, I mean, just taking me in overall. I mean, her being, a mother.
Okay. You
get me? Her doing everything that my mother wasn't doing. So I definitely appreciate that, because one of the things that she told me, like I love, she was always real.
Okay.
So one of the things that she told me was like, there's other people that take in kids only for the check.
Okay.
And I seen that with one of her friends. She had 2 kids that she took in that were in the system, and you get paid.
Okay.
You get a check for us every month.
Right.
I didn't know the specific amount, but she wouldn't use those checks on those kids that she had at all. And she would tell me, like, what you need to understand is you're 13. At this time, like I said, I just came out of 6th grade. I'm 13, and nobody's taking in teenagers. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, if anybody wants a kid, they want somebody that's young.
Yeah.
You get me? Not somebody that's already been through so much. It's going to be hard to control these teenage years and actually treat me like her son. And she did that. She definitely did that, man.
Man, how much time did you spend with that family there?
I was there for about 3 to 4 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was a nice little time there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I ended up graduating 8th grade, going to high school over there. So, yeah.
Did she have children that you grew up with there?
Yeah, she did. She had an older son. His name was Jason. And I think he was probably like 4 years older than me.
Okay.
You know, he used to go to Dunbar.
Right.
And I still talk to him now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he stays in Arizona. So, but I still talk to him now, definitely check up on him. And yeah, man, that was definitely my older brother.
Oh, no way.
At the time, yeah.
Man, so I know you mentioned she was like a mother you never had. But what are some of those qualities that you've seen from her that were really like the way she loved you in some way? Or?
All right, so I got a perfect example.
Yeah.
When I first moved over there, you know, the neighborhood it's an all black neighborhood.
Right.
So when I first moved over there, I'm the only Mexican there. You get me? And I want to say for like a good 2-3 months, she didn't want me to go outside because she didn't know how the neighborhood was going to act with me.
Gotcha.
She didn't know if I was going to get bullied or it was going to become something about race. She did not know, and she didn't want to risk it. Somebody that didn't care would have been, go outside, go make friends, go play.
Right.
You get me? And she didn't do that, bro. She didn't do that.
Man, like go fend for yourself, but man, she protected you.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there 3-4 years. What's next in your life after that?
Well, she ends up wanting to move to Arizona.
Okay.
She wanted to move to Arizona. I'm about a freshman at this time. So I'm about, 14 going on 15. And I didn't want to go to Arizona.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to go to Arizona. I felt like there was nothing out there for me, considering the fact that all my family is here in Chicago.
Right.
So I felt like I was going to be missing something.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. While you were staying with her those 3-4 years, did you have contact with your family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was another thing. Like one thing with Stacy is that she would take me to my brother's house all the way on the north side, drop me off all the way by Fullerton, and she'll take me all the way to my brother's house for the weekend. And then we would call our mom and be like, hey, can you pick us up from the north side where, we're at my brother's tia's house. And my mom would come pick us up. So we would always try to get that love and get that affection and try to, still see our mom and meet our mom no matter what it was. So when Stacy wanted to go to Arizona, it was like, I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I'm missing something because I still want that love from my mother. No matter how much love I'm getting from Stacy, it's not the love that I wanted.
Yeah.
You get me?
Or from who you wanted.
Exactly. Or from who I wanted. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Man, okay. So, man, like your heart was still wanted to connect with mom in some way. Mm-hmm. And now let me ask you this. Did Stacy know that you were seeing your mom still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't mind. What ended up like changing everything was that I kept getting in trouble.
Okay.
When I was
on the south side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kept getting in trouble. Once I actually went outside, like the first time I actually getting out in the neighborhood, it was like they knew me and I knew them for a long time. Okay. So we clicked. We didn't have no problems. And if anything, I was getting into more trouble.
Okay.
I was getting now I know the neighborhood kids.
Right.
The ones that you wanted me to stay away from.
Okay.
So now I was getting into trouble. And when she ended up deciding to move to Arizona, I ran away.
All right.
I ran away from house. I didn't take nothing. I don't even think I took clothes. And I ended up staying at one of my friends' house on the next block. And they would call me. My caseworker would call me. And no, like I'm on the run. I don't want to go to Arizona. There's nothing out there for me. Or I assumed there was nothing out there for me.
Right.
Because again, I felt like I was missing out on something that, that I needed.
Yeah. Okay. So you ran away, and where do you go to from here? Like how long do you stay somewhere, or where did you end up?
So I stayed up maybe a few days to a week at one of my friend's house, left there, went to another friend. So I was just jumping from like house to house.
Right.
Like literally just jumping from house to house until, and I'm still keeping in contact with my caseworker, but it's more so like you need to turn yourself into us so we can put you in a group home or find you another home. And I'm not trying to go through that process no more.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to go through that process no more. I've already been through so much. And at this time, I'm only 15. But like my mindset is a lot older.
Gotcha.
You know, so I'm not trying to go through these processes again where I go to another family and hope they like me and hope me treat me good.
Yeah.
You know, my big thing with living with Stacy was just the fact that I didn't want to go to Arizona.
Right.
You know, and yeah.
Do you think if she hadn't made that choice, you still would have been there? Like you would have stayed there?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I guess, you know what, looking back, that's being selfish.
Right.
Because she had nothing but the best interest for me.
Right.
You gave me, who's to say that if I would have went to Arizona, I could have had the best life possible.
Gotcha.
You know, I could have had a good life out there, but I wouldn't know because that wasn't something that I was risking to do.
Right.
Because I just want that love, man. I want that love from my mom.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me ask you this: where's your dad at during this time, or even like in the beginning?
So my dad, I never met my dad. I think when I did meet my dad, I was probably 22 or 23.
Okay.
He called me through a Facebook Messenger, and we start talking. He's telling me how he wants to see me and be a part of my life. And when I tell you, like, I had no contact with him, I don't know who you are. Growing up, my mom always told me, I'm your mom and your dad. You know, she took that role, like, I'm your mom and your dad. You know, your dad's not here, but don't worry about that. Right. So when he contacted me and he's like telling me, like, oh, you want to be part of this? Like, bro, I already went through everything without you.
Right.
I already been through group homes and different foster homes and jumping from home to home. That's when I needed you.
Right.
Now, when I already got a handful of kids and I'm paying my own little rent and I got my own thing going, I'm already a man.
Gotcha.
There's nothing you can do for me. When I needed you, or, you know, I don't even think I needed him because he was in my life. Right. So I don't expect anybody to be there that's not already in my life. Gotcha. You know, so, but there was nothing, like I told him, there's nothing you can do for me, bro. Like I'm already a man. I'm paying my own bills, my own rent. I got my kids. There's literally nothing you can do for me. You know, right. When I needed you, or if I thought I needed you, you know, that was going to be back then, not when I already went through all the rough ups and downs.
Right. Man, yeah. And was that the only time you had contact with him, or did you talk to him after that?
No, that was it.
After, that was a one and done, huh?
Yeah, I never talked to him after that. Till this day.
Gotcha. So now you mentioned that at this point you had kids. Like, so when you ran away, what did you end up doing? Like, let's say, I know you mentioned kids, but that was probably maybe some years after.
When I ran away, eventually, like, I want to say maybe after a couple months, my caseworker let me move with my tia. So now I'm going back to Pilsen.
Okay.
So now I'm going back to Pilsen. I'm still a freshman at this time, but I'm going to finish my school year at Corliss, which is all the way on the south side. So I finished my freshman year, but now I'm just getting in trouble with my tia. I'm getting into fights at school, and she's not liking it.
Right.
I'm getting in trouble. I got my first tattoo when I was 15, and she just didn't like nothing that I was doing at that time. And you can't blame her. You know, I'm a teenager. I don't pay no bills. I don't pay no rent, and I'm just moving how I want to move, and I'm doing what I want to do.
Right.
You know, and nobody can tell me nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so when I was staying with her, I think one of the last straws was I got into a fight at school. I got suspended for like 10 days. And we kind of got into a little argument. And she says, you know what? I'm tired of what you're doing. You have an option. You can either, I'll take you to the juvenile place right now and drop you off, or you can go after I get out the shower. So I told her, okay, cool. Go take a shower and we'll go after. As soon as she hopped in, I ran away again. I ran away from there. And I did the same thing. I stood at friends' houses and, you know, caseworker contacting me. And it got to the point where eventually my caseworker allowed me to stay at my grandmother's house, which is the house in Cicero.
Okay.
You know, so
back to where you began.
Exactly. Back to where I began, because my mother wasn't there. You know, she was living somewhere else at that time.
Okay.
So there, you know, in the beginning, when we first got into the system, I couldn't go with my grandmother because my mom stayed with my grandma.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to put us in the same household. Obviously, you'll go upstairs or, you know, a different apartment. But I was able to get granted to go to my grandma's house, and I was happy. You get me? Because now I'm with family.
Yeah.
You get me? Now I'm with real family. I mean, I'm not saying my tia wasn't there for me or nothing, because she did all that she could.
Right.
You know, I don't blame her for making the choice she did, because, you know, she got fed up.
No, yeah.
You know, she got fed up. She was tired of it. And Yeah, man, she was tired of it, you know, and I don't blame her because, you know, I look back now and it's just, I wasn't grateful with a lot of decisions I did.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely ungrateful.
Yeah, you know, you're a teenager, rebellious. You know, I'm sure you got a lot of anger from everything you experienced. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's a lot of hard stuff that a child shouldn't be having to go through, and I'm sure all that like builds in and just leads to anger that you want to like vent with rebellion or whatever other stuff you were doing.
Yeah, definitely.
So once you moved to Cicero, what was the next step in your life there? What ended up happening there?
Ended up going to Morin East
Okay.
for my sophomore and my junior year. But then I started to get more so into the game banging life. Like I said,
Okay.
it was always around us. You know, we were always cool with, you know, either this side or that side because I was always like, I hung around with a group of guys at that time where we were neutrons, but we were renegade. Like, we're cool with you, but if you wanted to start something, that's fine with us too. You know, so it was, at that time, it was like, you know, I'm in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm in the middle. You know, I haven't chose to be with either side, but you know, back then a lot of guys, you know, they used to want to, you know, come and check you, and even you know, back then telling somebody, a gang member that tried to check you, and you tell them like, no, you know, I don't do this, I don't do that, or I'm not this. You'll still get into it with them.
Yeah.
You know, saying you're not this, you're not that, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, they could even ask you, well, where do you live? And just by, if you tell them where you grew up in or live, right away they assume, okay, you're that. And,
Exactly.
And even like you mentioned, a neutron, that basically means you're neutral, not on one gang or the other.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, you're right. You could tell them, man, you know, hey, I ain't with this gang banging, but it ain't. Nah.
None of that matter, because they'll always try to make you, you know, drop another gang down or
Right.
and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, I just told you I'm nothing.
Yeah.
But I see that nothing gets me nowhere.
Right.
So you have to defend yourself
Gotcha.
because regardless, it's gonna happen. You know, regardless, especially like growing up in the early 2000s, you know, where gangbanging was still active, and like now it's more, you know, everybody has a gun. You know, everybody has a gun, but back then it was more like you actually like fist fighting, and you know, a couple people might use some weapons, and you grab a bat or a bottle. You get me,
Right.
but it was nothing like where you have to jump to the gun every time.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, you're at this point. You say you're in the middle. Did that change at a point in your life?
Yeah, definitely. Me and the little group we were with, we just one side started to show more love than the other side.
Okay.
So we were like, well, let's see what's up with this side then. You know, they're showing us love, and it was definitely that. It was brainwashing, persuading. Like I would go to the hood and we would go out to eat, but I didn't have to pay for nothing.
Gotcha.
You know, we would, you know, they'll have drugs around, and if I needed something to sell, they'll front it to me.
Right.
You know, everything was available at no cost, or what you think was no cost.
Okay.
But putting your life on the line was the ultimate cost.
Right. Right.
Because in the end, you would die for that gang, that block.
Right.
You get me, for a name. So, you know, at first you're like, oh, you know, this is love. You know,
Yeah.
You know, they're looking out for me. They're buying me stuff. They're buying me this. We got the girls. You know, we're doing our thing.
Right.
You know, so they brainwash you. You get me, and that's the side that showed more love was the side that we went to.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned a brainwashing. So what did that lead you to do? I mean, getting all this love. You mentioned it's not for free because it came at a cost. So what did you end up doing? Or
Well, I mean, I was the type, like, so growing up in the system, I wasn't with family, you know, since I was always going like to home. Before I went with my tia, I always had a solo mindset. So I always, you know, thought to myself, you know, even now, like I vent to myself.
okay.
You know, I vent to myself. Like my nickname in the hood is Flaco. So when I vent to myself, Hector talks to Flaco, and Flaco gives him bad answers. You get me? And that I did that for a long time. Even now to this day, you know, I try to stay positive, but if I feel like I don't have nobody to vent to, I will vent to myself.
Okay.
And I will tell me what I think is good to hear, you know?
Right.
And, you know, everything sounds good when you're telling yourself it.
Right. Yeah, like they say, the only time I talk to myself is when I need an expert opinion. I know it's a joke, but yeah, okay, no, yeah, but that makes sense, man. Because almost man, and I would look at it like in almost like a self-preservation mode. Like, man, you got to take care of self because, man.
Yeah, of course.
You know, my family's not there for me, you know.
Of course.
I know you had your brother there, but, you know, due to the circumstances, you guys get separated. So, yeah, definitely. That makes perfect sense that, man, you would have that mentality. So, okay, you have this mentality, look out for self, but now you're in the gang. How does that look as you're, like, in it and getting involved in certain things?
Just making a name for myself.
Okay.
So, you know, every gang's like this. Every gang has that handful of people that you only mess with. You know, you could turn on a gang, but out of that whole gang, you might be only real close to 2 people.
Right.
Like, might just be best friends with only 2 people, but you're still part of the gang.
Right.
You know, so when I turned out, it was just more so make a name for myself. If I wasn't going to school with you and you just happen to be like one of the older guys, I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't care. Like, I had the mindset where, you know, I don't have to respect you. You get me? And vice versa. You don't have to respect me. But I felt like if you weren't in my little circle within my gang, I didn't care about you.
Okay.
Like, I didn't care about you. I just wanted to make my name for myself, hang around with my guys, and that was it. You know,
Right.
a lot of gangs have a lot of cliques.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's always like that. It's always like that.
Yeah. And that's I would say like a lot of them, like you say, you got like your inner circle, and then of course then you start getting into the bigger. So let me ask you this: you got that mindset, like, man, you mentioned about respect, man. I ain't gonna respect you. I'm sure that had to get you into some trouble, especially let's say maybe some of the older guys like in the gang.
Yeah, well, yeah. A lot of my first fights were with the older guys.
Okay.
You know, a lot of my first fights were with the older guys, and it was more so about respect.
Okay.
You know, my mom's not your regular mom.
Okay.
So my mom was in the hood when we were in the hood. When I was gangbanging on the block, my mom was right there. Because, you know, my mom was either coming in the hood to get her little drugs, or just being in the hood just to be in the hood.
Okay.
You get me? So my mom was always around that. With that being said, you know, my mom was around the age as a lot of the older guys.
Gotcha.
So if they were drinking, if they were chilling or partying, whatever the case may be, there was times where they disrespected her, whether it was verbally or put their hands on her, where, yeah, all day we will fight.
Okay.
All day, you know, and the crazy thing is that I got into more fights with my guys than I did with the ops. Yeah,
That's
as crazy as that
yeah.
sounds, bro. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, well, a lot of the first fights that my guys would see would be with my older guys.
Right.
And I'm 17, 18, and I'm fighting, you know, the 29, 30-year-olds. And
Yeah.
but that's because their mindset is different. They think they could talk to you how they want to talk to you and do this and do that. And with me, it wasn't like that.
Right.
You know, it wasn't everything I've been through. It wasn't like that. I wasn't folding for nobody. Why?
Gotcha.
Like, no.
Man, okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You know, like, now, let's say in the gangs, like, sometimes, let's say you got, like, your chief or whatever, you disrespect them, you could fight them, but then, like, you could get, like, violated afterwards, or no?
That wasn't like that with us.
Okay.
That wasn't like that with us. Like, we were, man, in a way, we were renegade.
Okay.
You know, shit. Our little chief would tell us, like, hey, if you have a problem with somebody, take it to the alley, or, you know, I don't know if we curse on here, but, you know,
I mean, you could, you know, I'll beep it. Let me see. Do I got a beep? No, I don't think I got a beep. But go ahead, man. Just talk regular for real.
But he would tell us, like, you know, if you have a problem with each other, you know, take it to the alley or shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Period.
Right.
Like, there was no in between. There was no, if you do this to him, you do this to him, there's going to be consequence for both of you. No. Everything that happened in the hood, whether it was to you or a family member, you dealt with that on your own.
Okay.
Like, you dealt with that on your own. Like, that's just, and not a lot of hoods are even like that.
Right. No.
You know, not a lot of hoods are like,
definitely
respect.
like a structure.
Exactly.
I would say like for the gang I was in, you have somebody, let's say we'll call it like for a certain, let's say, section or area. And then you have, let's say, like a chief, let's say from one block, let's say this street and then that street. And then they will all go under the other ones. So there was like a certain, I would say, order, I guess, like a pecking order.
Yeah, I get what you.
So, but yeah, definitely like the things I witnessed was like, man, you, let's say, disrespect that guy. They're gonna, like I said, going back to the violations. Hey, man, whatever it is, a minute or whatever it is.
Definitely. And a lot of you know, a lot of gangs are like that. But like, I don't know, man, with us, it was just different. And with me and my mindset, it was just different. Because I was the type to tell you, like, you know, get the hell out of my face. Like, just, like, I don't know. I was quick to push people away, push people to the side, because growing up, that's just what it was already.
Right.
You know, like, you know, my loved ones were already not with me. And I used a lot of my excuses based on, you know, the lifestyle I grew up with growing up in foster homes.
Gotcha.
You know, so.
Yeah, so I'm sure that played a part in almost like harden yourself, harden your heart, and man, just your mindset. So, okay, you're in that lifestyle, man. What things were you getting involved in? Did you end up getting, let's say, into some legal trouble as you're out there? Or
no, so
how did that look?
So the crazy thing is, like, I don't know, man. Every time I was always like solo, or I always had like one or two guys, bro. Literally only like one or two guys that I like trusted.
Right.
So if we you know, did anything or whatever the case may be, or went on a mission, like, I would either go to them or I'll do it by myself. Like, I was always like that type to just do it by myself. So I never got any legal trouble.
But that doesn't mean you weren't causing trouble.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean,
I know what you're saying.
So when I say legal trouble, I mean more so like felonies.
No, yeah,
like,
right.
You know, we get locked up for the little mob action and the little misdemeanors, but that's all slight.
Right.
You know, that's all slight. But like big legal trouble where I had to do years or anything like that, I've always just been, you know, I move smart. You know, I thought
I got you. Yeah.
You get me?
But you were out there doing your things in the street, and like you said, it just you just did your trouble, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. All right.
Yeah, I got blessed a lot, man. Like, God definitely, I got blessed a lot. Like, I got blessed a lot. You know, there was a time where I'm just leaving out my house with a couple of my guys, and I closed the first door, but I didn't lock it.
Okay.
So as we're leaving, the narcs pull up, and they ended up hopping out, and they go right to the door where we came out of, and they open it. And I'm thinking, like, damn, like, you know I got some bangers in there.
Yeah.
I know I got some drugs in there, and they're about to walk in there like nothing, like legit, like nothing. So at this point, I'm like, and I was living in front of a school. Okay. So add that on top of that, man, like, they're not playing that.
Yeah, you want to share what happens? Maybe there's some people not from Chicago. What's the law like with that here in Chicago? Or
well, I mean, when you have like weapons and drugs, I think it's like 1,000 feet, or I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a certain distance away from schools that you got to be. If not, your charges become 10 times more than what a regular charge would be. So at this point, my adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah,
you know, they open the first door, they go to the second door, they open it. But if it wasn't for my dog that ran to the door and made them close it, and they got on the walkie-talkies and they just, hey, he has a dog, and they didn't go in there. They, like, it's the little things, bro. Like, like, it's the little things, man. And I was just so like it was a weight off my shoulder. Like, my life could have been upside down right there.
Right.
My life could have been upside down. I would have been locked up, and ain't nobody else gonna take no charges. Everything's in your house. Yeah. You get me? Like, I would have been struck, bro. Like, I would have been struck. But I'm telling you, shout out to my dog, man.
Hey, what was his name, man?
Blue.
Shout
out to Blue.
My boy Blue. You remember the movie Old School, no? My boy Blue. I got you. Hey, I know right now you mentioned God. You brought up God. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, and you're growing up, your childhood, even up to this point where you're at, you know, with the situation with the narcs, what part does God play in your life, or even in your mind? Like, did you ever have any experience going to church? What was that like in your life?
Yeah, I went to a lot of different churches, I would say. I used to go to Sunday school, which is, I think it was in Indiana. Okay. You know, they'll come around the neighborhood and, you know, gather everybody up, and we would go to church there. But even when I got into the foster homes, like when I was living with Stacy, at first she wasn't religious.
Okay.
She wasn't religious at all. And she ended up becoming a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So I think it was like every Wednesday we would do like a Bible study, and we would talk about Jehovah, and we would get into the whole works with that. And there was times where my friends, I would sleep over their house, and their mom would invite us to church, and it was a Lutheran church.
Right.
So I was always around some type of, or I always believed in a higher power.
Okay.
You get me? I always believed that like there was a higher power. If not, I'm telling you, I got blessed a lot. I got blessed a lot to where it's like, I don't even have to be here, bro. I don't
Okay.
even have to be here. You get me? And you know, that's definitely God, or there's definitely a higher power looking out for your in your way, man, in your favor.
Right. Okay, man. And now let me ask you this: like recently, is there anybody in your life that has been trying to draw you close to God?
Yeah, man. Definitely my girl.
Okay.
You know, she's definitely religious to a T.
All right.
You know, she goes to her retreats. She has her Bible studies. You know, if she's not working on her Sundays, she's at service. So she's definitely somebody that keeps me positive.
Okay.
You know, like my mindset is negative. You know, I mean, lately I've been trying to see the positive side of things. So I want to say, like, within the last month or two, I've been pretty positive about situations, even thinking twice before I do something.
Okay.
And before, I was never doing that. I did the thinking after everything was already done. So she gets me. I always say, like, we're like yin and yang, you know, like
Gotcha.
like she's my positive and I'm the negative. You know, she's everything that I want to be. You know, I want to be all that positive that she has in her. That's what I want.
Okay.
You get me? And she definitely keeps me on my toes, man. It definitely keeps me to see the brighter side of things, no matter what it is, no matter how bad I think it is. She always wants me to see the positive side of it. And I'm always worst case scenario.
Gotcha. I know, like, I believe a while back we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned something about her showing you a certain type of love, and I believe you said something like, "Man, how could somebody love like that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember the statement you made?
Yeah, definitely. So when I met her, you know, I was going through a lot. Mentally, I was going through a lot. Physically, like, you know, with you know, my little medical conditions, and just my mindset wasn't looking for, you know, like, of course I was messing around with a lot of women.
Gotcha.
But I wasn't looking for one specific woman to fall in love with, you know. So when I met her, I want to say within like a month and a half, maybe two, she had told me, like, man, like I love you, and she would show it. And at that time, I just told her, like, I'm sorry, but I don't love you. This is too early. And this is not something that it was weird, bro. It was weird.
Okay.
It was weird because she was showing me all this affection. She was buying me things when I didn't ask for them. She was getting the little things for me. And when I say little things, it like my favorite drink, you know, my favorite food. And she was doing it without me asking. So she was showing me a lot of love, a lot of affection that I haven't experienced in a long time. Okay. You know, like, I wasn't, and it was weird to me because I wasn't getting none of that love from my mom, you know? So when she's telling me that she loves me and that she wants to be with me and she sees a future with me and she wants to be my wife, that's all like how? I don't know. Like, how can you love somebody so broken? Gotcha. You know, like, I'm so broken and you're giving me all your love. You're giving me all your love. So it was just weird because the love that I wanted was from my mom, and she wasn't giving, like, I didn't get that. Right. And that's something that, you know, I opened up to my girl about, and she brings it up, and she'll tell me, like, you are the way you are because of your mom. Right. You know, you're heartless and you know, you're cold-hearted and all this because of your mom. You know, you won't allow any woman to love you because your mother didn't love you. Right. You know, so that's something that she'll tell me, and it's true. You know, it's true. It's hard to admit, but it's definitely, you know, it's definitely true. You know, I even still to this day, you know, I want that genuine motherly love. You get me? Right. Without all the drama, without the drug using, and without the drinking, and without the gang banging, like that mother that's just gonna be there for you when you call her, and she's gonna be your ride or die. Right. You know, that's gonna be there for you through thick and thin. You know, where you don't have to worry about her leaving 2-3 in the morning to go get some crack or go get some, like, you get me? Yeah. Yeah. It was just, I don't know, it's crazy, man. Like, she was just showing me a lot of love that I wasn't used to. Right. That I just wasn't used to it, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, to feel that way and look at it that way. Yeah, I believe what you told me is like, man, it was hard for you to accept your girlfriend's love because, like, man, you said my own mom didn't even love me this way.
Yeah, facts.
So
She didn't, because you got to think about it, man. If she loved us the way she loved us, we would never been in the system so long. And the reason why a lot of people might think, oh, well, how could you know she don't love you? And we ended up having a meeting with my caseworker.
Okay.
I want to say I was probably like in 7th grade. So this was all like in the beginning of us getting into the system. And I lost respect for my mom, but I still wanted the love. Like, and when I say I lost respect for my mom that day, it was because of the fact that we're talking about her getting us back, you know, like living together. And she legit told my caseworker, I'm not even going to lie, I wasn't going to try to get them back. And that hurt me because, bro, every day I was going to sleep, tossing and turning, thinking, okay, cool, maybe tomorrow or maybe the day after that she'll come and get us. Maybe, bro, every day in the back of my head, she was trying her hardest to get us back.
Right.
But in fact, she was living her best life, bro. She had no kids to worry about anymore. She was doing her thing. She was doing her drugs, and she had no responsibilities.
Yeah.
She had no responsibilities. So I'm like, damn, because I'm thinking you're trying and you're not even trying. Like you're not even trying. And that, I lost all respect for her after that. Like to where when I started gangbanging, I would get into it with her and I would disrespect her. And it was just bad, man. It was just bad. You know, it got bad between me and her. And it wasn't until years later that I just decided, like, okay, I want a relationship with my mom and I don't want her to pass away and me regret doing the things that I did or saying the things that I did. And although it should be the other way around. Yeah. She should swallow her pride and be there for us and be a mother instead of having a mindset of, you know, we got to respect you because you're our mom.
Yeah.
That's fine. I would respect you if you were a mom.
Gotcha.
You get me? But you had other women in our lives playing that role.
Yeah.
You know, you had other, you know, Stacy played that role. My tia played that role. My brother's grandparents played that role. You had everybody playing this role that I didn't want that role from.
Yeah.
And, you know, so.
Yeah, that's definitely tough, man. But yeah, like you mentioned, at least you have that, not the relationship, I would say, that you want, but at least, I guess, the communication, you know, in a sense, right, with her now? Or
Yeah, definitely now. We communicate and everything, like we're cool, but I can't, if I was in an emergency, she wouldn't be the number I dial.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like, and it's messed up to say because that's your mother.
Right.
You get me? But she wouldn't go above and beyond.
Yeah.
She would not go above and beyond. I can go through my phone right now. If I was in a dying situation and I will scroll right past her name.
Right.
Because again, she's not somebody that I can depend on.
Yeah.
And I knew that growing up in the system.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, going back to your girl. Now, is that a number you feel you could call, like based on the way you mentioned she loves on you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I love that girl, bro. Like she's everything I'm not.
Right. And
if it wasn't for her, I'll still be in the same mindset I was last year when I met her.
Right.
Like, you know, I had her, but I wanted to keep doing me and keep messing with other women.
Yeah.
But I wanted her.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted her. And it wasn't until one day, I want to say we were like maybe 6 months in, and she was still consistent with the love, with the affection, you know, with that ride or die mindset of just being there for me. Not even getting into any of the BS I was getting into, but just being there for me. And it wasn't until one day I woke up and I was just like, man, like, I have to love this woman. Like, I have to love, I'm not obligated to, but all the love and everything that she's doing for me, like, I have to love this woman. I have to love this woman. God put her in my life for a reason. I could continue to keep doing bad, and she's swerving that path. You get me? She's making me see, like I said, the positive side of things.
Right.
So I was like, man, like I have to love this woman. She's doing everything she possibly can for me, and then some.
Yeah,
You know?
I know you mentioned something earlier. You said how could she love somebody that's broken,
Yeah.
like yourself? And man, what comes to my mind, it's almost like God's loving on you through her, man. Because I know you mentioned she's always at church. She's always doing. You mentioned retreats,
Yeah.
Bible studies, and
Yep.
man, to be honest, that's the way that God loves, man. Because the God of the Bible, man, the Bible says that while we were yet sinners, that Christ died for us. You know, and it's like, how could God love that way? Or even like you mentioned, like your girlfriend, man, I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't deserve this kind of love, man. Like, and even the Bible talks about I think it's in the book of Psalms that even though my father and my mother forsake me, that the Lord will never forsake us. And man, like as I'm thinking about it, that's kind of like the kind of love you're receiving now, but it's foreign to you, man. Like
Yeah.
this kind of love doesn't exist.
Exactly.
You know, like man, if my own mom, my flesh and blood couldn't show me this love, how could, almost like a stranger, right? Because he's not even,
Yeah.
like show me this kind of love. Like right now at this point of life, like where do you feel you're at now? I know she's like trying to draw you like to go to church or do this meeting or that, but you like personally, where do you feel you're at? Like if you're being honest with yourself, as far as like,
I'm at a standstill.
Okay.
I'm at a standstill. I'm dealing with something. I'm dealing with a case right now, a legal case that's putting my future on hold. Because, it's a certain amount of years that I could potentially get. And it's hard for me to plan for the future when I don't know what my future brings right now, when I'm paying a lawyer for my future.
Gotcha.
You get me? So right now I want to say I'm at a standstill, but I'm in I have a more positive attitude, because a few months ago when I first got the job that we're working at now, I was just negative. My mind was just money, money, money. How am I going to pay this lawyer? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to make sure this and that is done? And my mind was just scrambling all over the place. I was negative. I was getting mad about everything. And now that I have a better point of view as far as like seeing things from a positive side, I feel good. Like I feel good. Even though I don't know what my future brings,
Right.
I still feel in a better mindset, more positive with myself, and more open to accepting God.
Okay.
You get me? I don't know, bro. Like my mindset before it was all over the place. It was just negative. I want to do me. I want to do what I want. And can nobody tell me nothing? And that was my mindset most of my life. Like
Gotcha.
growing up, that's just what it was. I want to do me, or I want it my way, and that's it. And but I definitely see a future with her. I mean, she's been riding with me through everything. We're almost going on 2 years. She's been with me before the money. Obviously, she's going to be there after the money, because depending on how this legal case goes, like, it's, she's definitely my ride or die, bro. So man, like I said, I gotta love her, bro. I got to.
Okay. Amen. Now, I know you mentioned like a future together now. Would she want you like to go like her way, like as far as like the church side? I know you mentioned you're in a standstill, but would that have to be like part of the deal, or how do you look at it, or have you guys discussed that?
Well, what do you mean? Like
yeah, I know, yeah, she goes to church, and I know you mentioned she's been trying to get you, man, like.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
she doesn't necessarily like, oh, you have to go to my church and nothing like that. It's the fact that I'm trying.
Okay.
It's the fact that I'm even seeking. You get me? And that's better than what it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Because you asked me to go to church a year ago, I got some money to make today. You can go to church. By the time you come back, we can chill and watch movie, cool, kick it, whatever. But I got some money to make.
Right.
So my mindset back like a year ago when we got together wasn't like, yeah, let's go to church. And not that I frowned upon that. Right. It was just, I felt like at that point of time in my life, like I always told her, I got my own relationship with God. I don't have to go to church to have a relationship with him.
Okay.
I always told her I have my own relationship with him. And, so me necessarily, going to her church or nothing.
Right,
like
right.
It wasn't like the fact that I'm trying now and that you've been inviting me and you've been consistent, for the time that you've been in my life and we've been coworkers. You text me invitations to come to, our little workout and the word and going to service and Bible studies, and you're consistent with that. And the fact that I'm even giving into it.
Okay.
One thing that she told me when I told her was, how can you love somebody so broken? Was the fact that she said, but I see that you can be fixed. I see the change in you. If I didn't see the change in you, I wouldn't waste my time.
Right.
Like, she literally told me that. And it's true, because I was, growing up the way I did, it was always easy for me to, if I had to change, I could change. And nobody can tell me, I don't have nobody in my ear telling me this and telling me that, because it all came down to me. Like, it all came down to me. I always made decisions on my own. That's when I would vent to myself.
Yeah.
Vent to myself. Hey, this ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right. But then try to justify it in my own way.
Gotcha.
So, but man, yeah, she's just definitely proud of at least even me attempting to.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you're still here. How old do you say you are, man?
29.
Hey, 29,
Yeah,
man.
I'll be 30 in December.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you're looking back in your life, you probably look back and, man, there's a lot of times where you probably could have been taken out, right? Being in the streets and
man.
discerning, and you're still here. And I know you mentioned you got this case you're facing, man. But God willing, things work out with that, and who knows what the future holds for you, man. But anything else you want to share before we get ready to close out?
No, bro. I mean, I think, as for now, I think we'll end up doing an update in the future and everything. Right. But I think for now, I mean, I kind of said what I felt, needed to be said.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, thanks for sharing all that, man. That's pretty deep, man. Like, just the childhood, the experience, and man, it's rough. I don't think no kids should be going through that. But man, we were definitely gonna keep you in prayer, man. And usually I'll ask our guests to say a prayer, man. You feel like saying one, or you want me to?
I'd rather you lead with that. I would feel right now. I feel that I'm a loss of words, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, I got you. No,
the words to put together.
Yeah. No, I'll say a prayer, man, and I know you'll be praying on part 2, man, because by then, God's gonna grab a hold of you.
There we go. See, that's the positive.
There you go, man.
There you go.
By then, you're gonna be on here preaching to us, man. So, hey, God willing, man. Hey, but thanks for coming through, Hector, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Man, thanks for sharing your story with us, and I'm gonna say a prayer, man. I'm gonna say a prayer for you, and the reason also I wanted you to be on here because I know you were sharing bits and pieces of the story with me. And I know there's a lot of kids in Chicago that have gone through that stuff, like you mentioned. There was group homes, there was kids all type of different ages. But man, I'll say a prayer for you and them. Heavenly Father, I come to you this evening, Father, in the name of your Son Jesus. I thank you for Hector, Father, and I pray for him. I just thank you for the point in his life that he's in. I know he says he's more open, Father, to hearing from you, and I just thank you because I know you're revealing yourself to him little by little. And I know that I feel, Father, that you have a plan and a purpose for this young man, that there's a reason why he's alive, and there's a reason why he's been through what he's been through. And I just pray, Father, that you just grab a hold of him. I pray that you reveal yourself to him in a personal way. I just thank you for the love that he's been receiving and experiencing in his life. And I know ultimately that's you loving on him through different ways, different areas. But I like to pray for all the young men, the young women that are in group homes, for those that have gone through similar stories like my brother, been taken away from their family, not knowing where they're going to go to next, that you love on these children. I pray that you place them in good homes, families, like he mentioned, Stacy West, I believe was her name.
Yeah.
And just opening their doors and showing love, Father, to strangers, Father, strangers, but they're ultimately all your children. We pray for them, Father, for those that the parents have left behind or abandoned and forsaken. But like I mentioned earlier, your word says, Father, that you will not forsake them. I just thank you for this time, Father. Bless those that are listening to this message. And just do what you need to do in my life, in his life, and in the life of young men that grew up with similar backgrounds. Young men and women that grew up in homes, that grew up in the neighborhood and gangs and the family, drugs and all type of things. And I pray that you raise up men and women that will break these generational cycles. A lot of times there's gang life, there's lifestyle. It gets passed down from one generation to the next. But we know, Father, that through Jesus Christ, that the curses could be broken, generational curses. and that you raise up men and women that'll turn the destiny, the paths, the direction of their families around, all for your name and all for your glory, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, brother, man, just thank you for coming, man. And this is a Wrong to Strong Chicago. My name's Omar Calvillo, and I am Wrong to Strong. I hope this From the Vault episode encouraged you. If it did, would you take a moment to share it with someone who could use a reminder of God's grace and the hope found in Jesus Christ? And before we wrap up, I'd like to invite you to be watching for my new book, From Darkness to Light, The Gospel Journey, releasing on September 8th. It's a simple, gospel-centered guide that walks readers through God's plan of salvation while also weaving in parts of my own testimony and journey from darkness to light. My prayer is it becomes a resource you'll not only read for yourself, but also place in the hands of someone searching for hope, forgiveness, and new life in Jesus Christ. Thank you for listening to the From Wrong to Strong podcast. If this episode encouraged you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope. Make sure you're following the podcast so you don't miss future stories. And if you want to support what we're doing or learn more about our prison outreach and ministry work, visit FromWrongToStrong.org. God bless you. We'll see you on the next episode.